Hey Wonderland, it's Alie. Happy New Year, guys. This is the first video of 2023. I hope you guys had a great start to the new year. I hope that everything is happening the way you guys wanted. And if it's not going so well, I really hope that you guys, get into the rhythm of this new year and everything looks positive for you as the months continue. This is my first video of 2023. And I thought the best way to introduce this year is with one of my favorite genres. For those of you who don't know me, I love Metroidvanias. And I wanted to talk about the top 5 Metroidvanias that I played on the Nintendo Switch, and I think that you would fall in love with as much as I did. Now, some of you who are here with me today are probably new to the genre and wanted to learn a little bit about it. So the 5 that I'm going to name are pretty simple in starting the genre. For those of you who have played, probably already played the top 5 that are on the Nintendo Switch that I enjoyed, but I hope you still stick around regardless for the end of the video. I want to talk about my first game that has been really close to my heart, which is Hollow Knight. When I first started collecting physical games for the Nintendo Switch, it was during the year 2020 when the pandemic started. I know a lot of us physical game collectors picked up or started their collection during that year. And I remember I had 2 games for the Nintendo Switch. I had Pokemon Eevee and I had Animal Crossing. And those were the 2 games that I started with and had. And I remember even going into a GameStop even before the pandemic, and I was just like, wow, this game is really expensive. Who wants to pay $60 for a Switch game? So just because of that, I remember I was not collecting for the Nintendo Switch. And so I remember I finally decided to start Pokemon Eevee because I was pregnant, and I decided this is the game that I needed to figure out, like maybe I can calm my nerves. Maybe I was a little bit stressed, having nerves before having the baby. And I said to myself, I'll play this game to keep my mind occupied. And I did. So I couldn't get to one of the Pokemon centers. And I remember Googling, and I tried to YouTube it as well. And I came across a YouTuber that talked a lot about a lot of the games that she plays on the Nintendo Switch, and she caught my eye because she did do a Pokemon Eevee review, and so as a result, I just decided that night to look through most of her videos, and I fell in love with her collection. I fell in love with some of the reviews that she did on some of the Nintendo Switch games. And as soon as I saw all of that, I said to myself, this is exactly what I want to play. I want a library of Nintendo Switch games that I want for myself. So one day I just got on eBay, got on these websites, got on Amazon, started, even before I knew anything about it, I got on Twitter, reopened my Twitter account. I haven't even used Twitter at that time. And I said to myself, I'm going to find out where I can buy all these games. And so I purchased Hollow Knight as one of the games that was on my shelf, and it stayed there. And once I had the baby, I was like, I really need to play something other than Pokemon Eevee. So what should I play? And so I took Hollow Knight off my shelf, put it in my Nintendo Switch, and I said to myself, oh my God, what have I been missing from such a beautiful, beautiful game? Honestly, if you were looking for a game that has like a bit of Tim Burton mixed with A Bug's Life, this is the game that you want to play. It is just this beautiful 2D platformer, has this beautiful atmosphere to it. It has very beautiful music, and I can't explain, but the exploration, the art style, it unfolds as you go through the journey, and it's just, this is what captivates you into wanting to play Hollow Knight. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. And honestly, it was my first Metroidvania, and I feel like the challenge was there. And so I already knew that if this was what Metroidvanias are in the future, this is exactly what I was looking for. I wanted that exploration. I wanted to be able to find secrets within a game. I wanted to be able to have a smooth control system when I was battling. And Hollow Knight delivers all of that. It also has a wonderful lore, within the game. And if you like to, get that 100% on a game, trying to discover some of the lore in that game is actually worthwhile. I just want to let you know you probably won't understand what's going on after discovering it all, so do check out some Reddit posts and some YouTube videos on some of our fan-based theories of Hollow Knight, but there is no like special explanation. Everyone has their own ideas of what Hollow Knight is about, but this game really delivers when it comes to exploration and platforming. It has a big focus on boss fights as well as enemies. It's not like puzzle platformers. So if you're into something where it's straight up action, attacking enemies, gaining experience, finding abilities, and getting to the end boss, then this is definitely a game that you should try if you are just starting Metroidvanias. However, I do not recommend playing Hollow Knight as your first Metroidvania if you are just getting into the genre. One of the Metroidvanias that I do recommend, however, if you're getting into the genre, is my second top favorite, which I'm actually going to split into two because it is from the same game. It's Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, these two games are so beautiful. First of all, it's a puzzle platformer. It has much more concentration on the puzzle part of it, as well as beautiful music and it's a gorgeous environment. Like, you are immersed into this environment when you're playing the game, because as you explore, you meet these new areas. There's just I feel like because of the environment and because of the music of this game, this is what actually captivates you in, because both of Ori games are not as much concentrated as Hollow Knight is with enemies. It's actually more concentrating on puzzles. So if you're interested in games where there's like that less challenge of the enemy part, but more so of the puzzle part, then definitely try Ori games. I do have to say that Will of the Wisps was a little bit more challenging. There were a lot more going on, and it had a lot more RPG elements to it because there were side quests in Will of the Wisps. But I definitely recommend these two games if you're just starting with Metroidvanias, because both games introduce the genre very well, and both of them have some unique differences to it. So if you're just a beginner in Metroidvania, start with Blind Forest, which is a simple puzzle platformer, and then when you go into Will of the Wisps before any other Metroidvania, you will start to feel the more concentration on enemies and the RPG elements of what a Metroidvania is. So aside from everything else, it has all those extra elements on top of it. And once you finish these two games, you'll have like a feel of what a Metroidvania is, so that when you go into something like Hollow Knight, you don't feel that pressure or that stress for wanting to end the game. So those are my first. I know I said top 5, but I'll just consider those two Ori games as one. So those are my top 2 on the Nintendo Switch, and they both have physical games. I know that if you've heard, Ori has a collector's. I'm not sure if it's still sold on iam8bit, but they do have standard copies on Amazon, so definitely pick something like that up if you're interested in a physical copy. My next Metroidvania that I really enjoyed playing was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Now, I have a funny story about that, mainly because when I first picked up Bloodstained, it was actually playing it for 5 minutes right before Hollow Knight. I did not know what a Metroidvania is, so when I picked up Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and if you guys have played it before, the very beginning is on a ship, and I said to myself, I'm really not interested in this type of game. It looks boring. I feel like it's not the atmosphere that I really enjoy. It feels very, it was like more exploring squares, because if you notice in Bloodstained, you're going from like square to square, so very similar to all the Castlevania games. And since it was my first time playing, I wasn't sure why it looked like that. So like when you play Hollow Knight, it's more like an atmosphere where it's like exploration and you can go into different places, left, right, up, down. But like with Bloodstained, it was like you're going to go to the left and then from the left down and from the down right. Even though in the future, as you continue and progress in the game, there is similarities to how the map works with like in comparison to Hollow Knight. But I didn't give that game a chance to even realize that. And I remember as soon as I finished Hollow Knight and I started to play some other Metroidvanias, I remember watching a YouTube video of someone playing and I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. What is this game? And then as soon as the YouTuber was talking, they're like, so yeah, definitely play Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. And I was like, what? I didn't see that when I was, starting the game. So I immediately popped in the game. I put it on my Nintendo Switch and I said to myself, I'm going to give this game a try. I remember even playing it with a friend on Discord because I wanted to, have that experience the game with someone else. And I fell in love with this game. And if you're a fan of Castlevania games, then Bloodstained Ritual of the Night does not disappoint. It even, I think, follows the story of Symphony of the Night. I did not play that game yet. It's still in my backlog. But I do know that you would enjoy this game, especially because the graphics, the music is beautiful. You're able to farm loot from enemies, which is really important to me. I feel like it's exciting when you're able to get weapons and abilities from enemies in order to utilize them in the battle system. And with Bloodstained, that's exactly what you do. So every enemy that you attack, you're able to get some kind of loot for crafting or for utilization as one of your weapons. So definitely check out Castlevania. Definitely check out Bloodstained. I mean, it is an Igavania. It has been done by Koji Igarashi, so it is technically part of the Castlevania series. I know there are a lot of characters that appear in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night that I think appeared in Castlevania games. So I definitely cannot recommend this game, especially if you've already went through Ori and Hollow Knight and you are looking to scratch that itch with Metroidvanias. Definitely pick up Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It will not only scratch that itch, it'll make you feel so impressed because it's sort of kind of like a JRPG mixed with Metroidvania. I cannot recommend it enough. So definitely get that game. There is a physical for that as well. My fourth game, and I wanted to get into something that is really, I feel really passionate about. One of my personal opinions when it comes to a game is that if you haven't played it at least, let's say a game has 100 hours. If you haven't played at least 40 hours of the game, don't make a review without realizing like that you're actually, in the story. A lot of games, they start off later. So sometimes even if you're playing an hour, the story doesn't start until maybe 5 hours in. So definitely do not make a review of a game if you've only tried it for 30 minutes to an hour and you think that that is your impression of the entire game. The reason I say that is because the next two games that I want to mention, if you go online and you search up reviews for this game, they have had some negative responses, and it really everyone is entitled to their own opinion, of course, but it does get me a little frustrated that you do not give a chance to a game because it doesn't meet your standards or it doesn't have similarities or exact copies to, let's say, something superior like Hollow Knight. The next game that I wanted to recommend, it has a physical. Limited Run Games did a run to it. I think it's sold out already there, but you can get it in store. They have an in-store option if you can do that. I know there are a lot of like, what do they call them? Proctors that would pick up the game at the store, whoever lives in that state, and send it off to you for a fee. So definitely look at that option if you're interested in a physical. But they also have Play Asia, and I'll link it down below, where they do sell the Asian version of this game. And the game that I'm recommending to you guys is Enderlilies. Now, Enderlilies for me was just very beautiful. The atmosphere is very, I guess I can see why some people say that the reason that some of them quit the game was because it was very gloomy, eerie. I enjoy those type of games. I want a game that gives me feelings and makes me want to, explore and find out and I don't know. I want something that touches my heart and really like not rips it apart kind of, but like I want a game that if it can move me, if it can make me feel some kind of sort of passion towards it, making me want to continue playing it, and as I continue playing it I become not like sad, melancholy, like I feel like I have these feelings for the protagonists of the game. They're doing a great job, and this is the game that I want to play. Something like Ori, for example, that really does well with making the player feel these feelings for the protagonists of the game. The same way with Enderlilies. Enderlilies has great music. It has an interesting battle system where you're able to choose spirits and customize your attacks based on those spirits. You can only have, I think, up to 3. Yes, 3. I haven't played it in a while, but 3 spirits that you can customize with your attacks and utilize them as you're battling enemies. And based on the way that you customize is how you're going to get through the enemies and bosses. The map has a lot of beautiful interconnected locations. There's a lot of exploration as well to this map. And I feel like it's not that hard. It's not a very challenging game. And that's what I love about Enderlilies, that any beginner can play this Metroidvania. And it's not just the Metroidvania elements, it has RPG elements to it. So this one that I recommend to you guys, I definitely think you should try it at least once. Do not listen to some of the reviews. Try it for yourself. See if you can make it halfway. And if you still can't, then I understand. It's not for you. But if you're looking for something that is exactly like Hollow Knight, this is not it. Different story, different features. I guess you can say it's more of an action RPG as opposed to the elemental, action platformer. But it is Metroidvania. It has the Metroidvania elements to it. So definitely check out and whoa, I just had like a tongue twister. Definitely check out Enderlilies if that is something that would interest you. I know it did for me, and I know that it would definitely interest other gamers just like me. But having people going back into that criticizing and how people make negative reviews so quickly, it really frustrates me because AAA games are known to have large companies that work on games, and so positive reviews, game of the year, like it's totally understandable. But when you have a small indie dev working on a game, and sometimes it's a 1-person, 2-person job, it breaks my heart to see negative reviews because they have worked on this game by themselves without a huge company helping them for years and years. And thanks to us, we're supporting these small devs. So having a negative review so quickly without even giving a game a chance, it really hurts the indie devs, and we're not really supporting them. So honestly, like I said, try games, play them for a couple of hours before you say anything, before you make that review, before you consider it a negative game. Also, keep in mind that it's a small dev, and some of the features that you may be looking for, they don't have the same amount of features as, let's say, Silksong or Hollow Knight, where they have Team Cherry on, as their devs. Definitely look to see if Enderlilies would be something that you are interested in, and also keep an open mind that a lot of these devs, they're small companies and they're by themselves, and they're making this amazing content for us so that we can enjoy it, and with that in mind, then come up with that review. For my last recommendation for the top 5 Nintendo Switch games, this game does not have a physical yet. I definitely see companies like Super Rare Games picking up this game because I feel like it vibes with their type of genres that they've printed before. But I'm not 100% sure that it will be them. But I know a limited print company will pick up this one. It's Haiku the Robot. Haiku the Robot is a very adorable game that reminds me of Wall-E mixed with the Brave Little Toaster. It is adorable. Exploration is beautiful. It's like a post-apocalyptic locations with music. It's kind of similar to this Metroidvania called Kunai, if you've ever heard of it. But obviously it's a cuter version, a little robot that's just walking around exploring the map. Has a very self-explanatory attack system where basically it utilizes its weapon to attack the enemies. I feel like it's not as challenging, but the dev just came out with a DLC that makes this game a little bit harder, and I feel like everyone who wants a challenge definitely should try this game when it's in the DLC format, because it's kind of like Radiant mode in Hollow Knight, and I know that a lot of us love that challenge when it comes to seeing if we can finish it under a certain time limit. But this Metroidvania is really great. It scratches that itch if you want to wait for Silksong to come and you need something to play. The game is not that long. I think I did maybe around 30 hours of the game. I don't remember, but I did get almost 100%. The only reason I didn't get 100% of that game was because one of the rounds that you have to do is without healing, and I did, unfortunately. So if you want to do 100%, don't heal in the game. But otherwise, the game was fun. Exploration was exciting. I love the NPC characters. When you explore the map, there are some little secrets there that will make you smile, or you'll just feel wholesome when playing this game. So definitely try Haiku the Robot, and disregard again the negative reviews that you do find about this game, because until you try it, you will never really know if this is something that you will love. And I know that I did, and it was one of my top 5, and I know that you guys would enjoy it as well. And so those are my top 5 Metroidvanias on the Nintendo Switch. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't want to go into the stories and the mechanics of each Metroidvania because I want you guys to actually try them out, see for yourselves if you will like them, and then let me know in the comments below if you've tried the games that I listed, if you've played them already and how you enjoyed them, what's your opinion on them, and let me know some Metroidvanias that are in your top 5 that I might like. I love putting them on my list, and I always have them on my backlog, so let me know in the comments below. And so, since I am here at the end of the video, thank you so much for being here till the very end. I have a Twitter account where I post a lot of my content often, and I will link that below. Give me a follow there. Like, comment, and subscribe to this video to show support, because I am a small channel and I hope that one day I can grow. Thank you so much for being part of the Wonderland family. And please, guys, stay wonderful. Bye.